Imagine going to a dealership to shop for a new car. There's no better feeling than buying a new car. What do you look for? Horsepower figures, the price, the exterior styling? And there's one more big categories of things that continues to influence your purchasing decision and your appreciation for cars. The interior ergonomics, user experience, and technology. On the show today, brought to you by 0 to 60 Studios in San Dimas, California, the hidden mastermind behind the UX and the UI of many of the street cars that you see today, including some of the legends. Jyoteen, I cannot believe that you're in the studio today. Welcome.
Well, thanks for having me, Jimmy. I'm not so sure that mastermind and legends, those are pretty heavy words. Hopefully, I can live up to those.
Yes. So for the national audience who might not know who you are personally, what should they know about you?
Well, I'm just a designer. I like to underplay everything. I've worked in a lot of places, but I'm a designer of many things, film, television things, commercials, and eventually now serendipitously into cars. And as car companies say, mobility, because it's not just cars, right? It's motorcycles, bicycles, scooters, and things like that.
How did your car passion start? Like when you say, wow, cars are cool, I might want to get into this.
I think every kid, you draw the profile roofline of the car, right? Like the sedan with the two donut wheels. My dad tells me I used to do that quite a bit. My dad is an architect, so some of that comes my way. I just basically stuck with it and eventually wound up full circle in the industry that I started out wanting to be in. I took German in high school. I was planning to do this, and then I didn't wind up doing it. I went into film and television, and then, as I said, by sheer luck, came into full circle with the cars.
I love it.
Yeah.
So let's go back to your career a little bit. What is automotive UI and UX for those who don't understand what those are?
They're two different things. One is creating the user experience, UX, is really your experience with the object, right? It allows you to execute a series of tasks as effortlessly as possible. In the business, we call it removing friction, reducing the frustration that you have using something. And UX is in everything, right? Like the cameras that you shoot for, like how easy it is to traverse the menus. You want to take a picture, you turn it on, then focus. How many steps does it take to get through that process? Do you have to read a manual, really thick manual to use it, or is it intuitive? Is it simple? Can anybody use it? Age groups, demographics, right? There's a bunch of research that gets into it. And then UI is user interface. It's the thing you see, the thing you interact with. And within that, there's other disciplines like user research. There's research that comes ahead of it and that informs how to go about solving a problem. Then there's interaction design, is when you touch it, what does it do, right? Does it move? Is it snappy? Is it slow by purpose? It's going through the story. For you to travel from point A to B, what is that experience? It's like a vacation. Was it terrible? Was it frustrating? Was it easy? Did you love it? Was it beautiful?
So accessing my menu is like going from A to B.
Yeah, it happens before getting into it, right? When you approach it. When you buy the car, that's user experience too, right? That's called customer experience. There's pre and post sales, right? When you talk to the dealer, how easy was it? Did you feel frustrated ordering the car? Did they guide you properly? Did you give the right information? When you went to the website, was it easy to find all the information that you were looking for? Everything has a user experience attached to it, and it's critical. As objects and things get more and more complicated.
Got it.
Right?
So how do you describe your job title or your career to people?
I'm a problem solver. Sometimes they call me the fixer. But that's only if things go wrong. I get a call. I solve visual problems. I solve functional problems. My last job was to make sure people don't get into accidents, which is a lot of people hate ADAS, but it's critical.
And ADAS is the autonomous driving.
That's the assisted driving systems, automated driver assistance systems, like everything from cruise control to forward collision mitigation, to lane departure.
So out of all the manufacturers that you've worked with, can you list some of them?
I started at BMW, so specifically BMW Design Works. So that is an advanced studio. BMW owns BMW Design Works. They use this lab to create advanced concepts. And we come up with stories like, hey, okay, we have this luxury car. What do people want in the luxury car? What's the next generation? What is BMW, for example? So BMW was one. I worked a little bit on the Apple TV, like decoding like the structure of Apple TV. The problem was back then Apple TV Plus and Apple TV they're still together. So people did not know how to separate the two. I worked on a lot of the Microsoft future stuff way before. So the Microsoft Watch. And then I worked a contract thing for Kia, Kia 2025. So all the 2025 cars, like what is the next version of the user experience at Kia and Hyundai? And then my latest gig was at Fisker. I was the director of design for UX there.
So out of all of your projects, what are your top 3, you would say, most iconic or your proudest projects?
I love the BMW i thing. I know it didn't get a lot of love, but it was groundbreaking in every conceivable way. That was my first car project, right? BMW Connected Drive and Vision. The way BMW goes is vision, concept, and series production. So the vision is future. Then there's concept, which is really close to reality and production. And then series production, which is what you see on the road. So we were doing vision stuff, and that was digital instrumentation. In 2000, I think it was like 2008. 2008, 2009, that's when we started working on it. How many LCD screens were in the car outside of the center stack? None. The reason I was hired is because at that point I was doing film and television stuff, right? Animation,
right?
Motion graphics. And now you had a screen that allowed for all that type of information to move. Before that, instrument clusters were static. You got one type of information, right? And with BMW, you had 4 circles. That was their brand language. So even today with your car, you have hexagonals, but it's 4 things in the car. That is a brand signature for BMW. Like I remember working on Rolls-Royce. We made movies out of foam core. It was like Charlie Chaplin kind of movies that we used to pitch, right? Like, what does a Rolls-Royce driver do? Like, is he chauffeured? Like, what is his partner? Like, what is she like? To design the experience in a Rolls-Royce is very different from every other car. I love that because you designed the experience not only for the chauffeur, which is a very different demographic, right? Like a Rolls-Royce, a person is driven, but it's also a car that someone drives, the owner drives. So there's 2 different kind of people that you're trying to address. And then with the Rolls-Royce specifically, the rear passenger is so key. So we had to create like these miniature movies. I love that because it was so guerrilla shooting. We played dress up. It was totally cosplay. And so we made these movies like, to explain the use case for each type of person, the chauffeur, the rear passenger, and the significant other. We wanted screens in the car. So what's on the screens?
Right.
In a Rolls-Royce, which is different from every other car.
So nowadays, a lot of critics and car journalists are saying that, well, a lot of cars are going big screens rather than all the buttons, right? And all these screens are, making the car look really dated because in the future they might go wrong. It's too much tech. You got to sift through the menu to do something that's supposed to be so simple. You can just press a button. How do you respond to that? Which one do you think is better? Where is the future?
The right answer is based on the problem you're trying to solve and the type of customer you're addressing. 911, like I have an analog car. Even though I do a lot of the screen stuff, right? Like screens and I create experiences, digital experiences in the car. I always say that for me, cars stopped at around 2008, 2009, because it's the only thing that is familiar to me as I grew up. But for a person that's 17, like my niece drives a car with screens. That's all she knows. They knew how to use the iPhone when they were 3. They knew the swipe gesture. Like it came so naturally to them. we always joke like, oh, the phone icons. I remember we always had a discussion in the LCD, like designing the phone icon. The phone icon looks like an old analog handset. In BMWs, it's typically like it's tilted up to the right when the call is coming in, and it's flipped as if you're putting down.
Right.
Those old analog phones, you put down the receiver onto the base, right, to hang up. To a new person, they don't know that. They even haven't seen a receiver. To them, a phone, if they use a phone, is a mobile device. But a mobile device is blank. So there's no right answer. I guess what I'm trying to, it depends. For Rolls-Royce, they keep cars forever, right? Typical car parts are, I think, legally required for 11 years to be produced. A Rolls-Royce is like 50 years. A person spends I think the average price was something like $500,000 on a Rolls-Royce. You want that to not age. And also the type of buyer that is tech forward. They like tech, but they don't like it in their face, right? They wear analog watches. They don't typically wear that Apple Watch, for example. It's a different customer and it's a different use case, right? They also have likely another car, a BMW 7 Series, for example, which is more tech forward. It's for business people. So you have a giant screen in the back. You can do your Zoom calls. A Rolls-Royce, you're not doing any of that because the whole point of the car is to isolate you from the outside realities. It's a place to relax and kind of just shut out the world in that quietness and the sereneness, and they call it wafting through the air.
Right.
BMW is more technically, is a tech-forward premium product, so there's going to be a lot of tech in it. So the software that runs on a BMW is the same software that runs in a Rolls-Royce, but their implementations are different because the feature sets are different. And so the answer is buttons versus screen. Well, on 911, the buttons, because you're probably on the track. The engine is really noisy. You can do road trips, but that's not what the car is really for in some ways. You want to enjoy the experience of the drive, not enjoy the experience of the tech. Rapid access, remove friction, as we talked about. Normal public, like any Hyundai, Ford, etc., they cram in features because people put value on the number of features. That's how they buy the car. They equate features to price. As you step up the luxury ladder, luxury is time. Luxury is not the number of features. How you regain the time is you delete interruptions or distractions. And tech is distracting. Surface the right features for the thing. It's not less features necessarily. It's priority of the features that bubble up to the top.
Got it. I remember that offline you were telling me about how some people think, screens are going to get dated soon, but it's actually the other way around.
Yeah, but how long do people use the car for? They have lease 3 years and you're on to the next screen, right? We are in a disposable culture. Like everything we have, we change iPhones every 2-3 years, if not a year, right? We are always on to the next thing. So is having a screen really that bad in the car? Wouldn't you rather have the more modern features for the car you have now, knowing full well that you're never going to keep the car beyond 3-5 years?
Which one do you think has more staying power, buttons or screens?
Well, buttons are limited, right? You can only assign like a couple of functions to a button. Buttons are more expensive. You have to have more parts, wear potentially, right? Like the icon wears out after 6-7 years, like all those Ferrari sticky buttons.
Got it. Wow, that's a lot of valuable insight that you just shared with us. I think that's a good segue to a little break.
Yeah.
You're listening to Sociology of Cars podcast. This is Jimmy XIE. Hey, listeners, I know that you hear me talk about 0 to 60 a lot. That is our amazing sponsor. I would like to remind you that it's actually the word 0, numeral 2, and the word 60. So word 0, numeral 2, word 60. Look us up on Instagram to see the full range of services that we offer here. Jyoteen, when you first walked into the studio, what did you think of the space?
I had no idea this place existed. You know, it's like the ultimate man cave. Like I wish my house was bigger.
Wow. You know, downstairs we have the 1,000 square foot sim racing studio. And upstairs, right next to us, is actually our printing studio. We can print industrial-sized posters, flyers, things for your wall, for your office. And when you walked in, right next to the office, there's actually a giant print of an AMG GT Cup car, I believe.
Right. I'm going to try to rent that. The dirt we rig.
Right? It's beautiful. That is from our printing shop.
Oh, wow.
If you have a club, if you have a company, we can also do stickers for you too.
Nice.
And then downstairs, right next to the sim lounge, we actually have a auto lab. We do PPF, vinyl wrap, and also tinting. I mean, you can just like play around a sim while
it's getting done. That's right.
This is such a man cave. It's like a one-stop shop. How many one-stop shops are out there nowadays?
Not many. They're all single catering, single-use things.
It's interesting. While we were talking about user experience, the ultimate user experience is that you come to one place and get everything done.
It's a multi-tool.
Yeah, so look us up and just come over, check it out. I feel like at this point, it's literally offensive to not come and check out 0 to 60. Wouldn't you say so?
Yeah, like bring my friends here and have the sim racing.
Of course, and plus, when you come here, you get to see good-looking people like me and Jyoteen and a whole bunch of other people. But more of Jyoteen, not so much me.
Well, I'm not that good-looking.
I think you are, but it's okay. So just come over, nobody gets hurt. Wow, that was a lot of knowledge that you just shared with us, Jyoteen.
A lot of random information that nobody thinks about nor cares, but that's okay.
I can just listen to you talk for like 5 hours.
Yeah, sadly, I can listen to myself talk for 5 hours too.
So having worked for so many car manufacturers and models and, consumer facing, when you test these things out, do you have, consumers come and do a role play?
Yeah. Yeah, we have user testing. We have seating bucks. We create bucks that are the car interior, not a full one, but like if there's a dash, there's a steering wheel, there's seats. We video them, right? Like using the system, there's a video camera. It's called user testing. Like we do it at every step of the process. Like, is this easy to find? Was the button too hard to click? Mm-hmm. For example, I remember Fisker, like we used to call it the button island. We were like, is this too clicky? Is this button too clicky? Is it too hard to press? Right? And then during user testing, we found out that women's fingernails were hitting, it was tough to touch and interact with the controls. So you wouldn't have known that until you created a prototype and you tested that out. So there's continual testing.
And then what was the solution for that?
The positioning and the curvature of the buttons. Before it was steeper. We also added little ridges to help identify what was you could go up and down on versus what's just a press. Like, for example, a lot of people brace their hand on the corner of the screen to touch the elements, right? Because the car is moving around. So to stabilize their hand, they'll brace it at the corner or the edge of the screen, and then they'll press the button with their thumb.
Oh, interesting.
Versus if you're just trying to like hone in on a target, like a postage stamp, like a carrier landing, the car is moving around, your hand is moving around. Like I can't use my iPhone in the 911. There's a lot of movement and the icons are really small. We talked about this. Forget about typing. I can't even click on the app icon.
So you have to design a place for people to rest the rest of their hand to brace for that.
Yeah, if it calls for that. So what you wind up doing is placing the most often controls closer to the edge. So your design is going to be different on the screen.
Right.
And remember, all of that has to be homologated, right? So what I mean by homologation is the crash. At Fisker, people go, well, why isn't it landscape screen? Well, in the landscape screen, you can't drive because the hand would hit the screen and break your hand in a collision. So every radius in the car interior has to not injure you in a collision. That's all thought of, engineered, how it collapses, right?
Right.
Like how it breaks away, things like that.
Got it. So Jyoteen, what's next for your career? I know you're moving to Germany in a week and a half.
Yeah, a couple of weeks. I'm rejoining DesignWorks, right? BMW. So part of DesignWorks is Advanced Lab, right? So I tend to hop between what I call series production stuff. Like I love working on cars that people drive, but I'm more interested in the future stuff because that's more inventive. Like I've done worked on a lot of cars. Like it's to me, it's like, okay, it's cool, but it doesn't move as fast. And I like to move fast and think of different things. I also want to not work on maybe cars specifically, but there's so many other things like related to transport, buses, planes, EV charging, anything that connects to the mobility of how people get from point A to B. It is very interesting to me. How people use and function in society. I know. City planning is fascinating to me too.
So you're not just designing for a certain manufacturer or a certain model. You're thinking about how humans can interact with cars as robots.
Or objects, yeah. Or, what do they do with it? What do you do with that object? We are building something. What do we need it to do? How does it satisfy a person's needs day to day? Is it a single-use object? Is it, like I have a lot of is it a kitchen knife? That is one thing. Do I use a butter knife as a screwdriver? That's two.
Right. Jyoteen, I have to say, every time when I talk to you, I learn so much to the point where I can just listen to you talk for hours.
Yeah, I know. Unfortunate. I'm sorry.
No, I'm actually really sad that you're moving away.
Oh, I'll be back.
But I hope that you come back to visit us, and so we can have you on the show again and talk to you more about stuff.
Yeah, Angeles Crest awaits.
Yes, I'm sure our listeners took away a lot of value from our conversation too. So thank you so much for being here.
Well, thanks for having me, Jimmy.
Sociology of Cars podcast is produced by Sociology of Everything, supported by 0 to 60 Studios in San Dimas, California. This is Jimmy Xai. We'll see you next time.